Talk Radio.
Ground control to Major Tom.
We've been expecting you, Mr. Boyd.
His is the worst voice you will ever hear.
Will he offer me his teeth?
The Tommy Boyds Show will teach you nothing. Nothing.
Always read the label.
Nothing but iniquity and wickedness.
If you really bug me, then I'll say goodbye.
Ohayo gozaimasu. Or good afternoon in English. Ohayo gozaimasu is, of course, good afternoon in Japanese. And as you will know if you're a regular listener to the program, I've taken the trouble to study Japan and the Japanese, both their history and their contemporary culture. I've studied the language, I've studied the people, I have studied their way of life. I have studied to become a samurai warrior, although I didn't finish the course. And I'm one of the few British men who can prepare, rather than cook, you don't cook, who can prepare sushi. The reason for this is as soon as you stumble on any part of Japan, Japanese history, or the Japanese people, you are immediately taken aback, quite startled at this group of humanity which is almost not a member of the human race. And I mean that with a certain amount of affection and indeed admiration. They are an inscrutable island race. They separated themselves, apparently, intentionally, for thousands of years. At the start of the Second World War, they were still fighting with swords. They were one of the most primitive cultures on planet Earth. And just 30 short years later, they're practically dominating planet Earth. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I want to ask this question, and I want it to be as open a question as you choose it to be. Shouldn't we just be a little bit suspicious of the Japanese? Free call 0500 10 53 89. Their culture is totally unique. The idea that they've turned it into some kind of 52nd state of the United States just because they play a bit of baseball and now know which end to swig their Coke from, okay? The idea that they've somehow turned into a Western culture is, of course, could not be further from the truth, utterly erroneous. The Japanese remain true to the religious, political, and philosophical ethic which made them once the tiger nation, not only of the Pacific Rim, but until recently, globally. But the question I want to ask is founded, as much as anything else, on a conspiracy theory which is currently up and running and gunning, I can tell you, in the United States. It's based on the possibility that the Japanese have faked their economic difficulties. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Is it a sham? Is it a scam? Is the Nikkei Dow really down? They certainly seem to have destabilized countries as vulnerable as the former Soviet Union and countries as proud and powerful as Germany, the United States, and even our very own city. Free call 0500 10 53 89. It's a piece of pub folklore that since the Japanese were unable to take over the world during the Second World War, they'd find a way of taking over the world financially and technologically. And I'm merely asking the question, I suppose, whether there's any substance in that piece of folklore, or whether we should move onwards and upwards, albeit a bit blindly. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Are they different? There's one definition of racism which works like this, which says that if you think that one race of people are different from other races of people, then you are a racist. Are the Japanese different? Have you seen their television? Have you seen their programs? I'm only asking the question. Free call 0500 10 53 89. There are those that think they have been blessed with contact from a higher civilization, and that is the only way that you can explain the extraordinary acceleration in their industrial program, their great economic and industrial success from 1945 up until recently. Shouldn't we just be a little suspicious of the Japanese? Free call 0500 10 53 89. As a colleague of mine reminded me in the lift, They've never apologised for Hawaii 5-0. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
Listen to me, all of you. Tommy Boyd.
10:53 and 10:89 a.m. Talk Radio.
What do you mean?
Immediate gratification and constant change.
Aye. What's that got to do with this?
Hold the barrel steady and jump in one at a time. Hold the barrel steady and jump in one at a time.
Tommy Boyd.
We're discussing the Japanese. Shouldn't we be just a little bit suspicious of Japan and the Japanese? Peter calls from Abingdon. You're on Talk Radio, Peter.
Moshi, Tommy-san. Genki desu. Hi.
Sayonara.
You want to say goodbye? I don't think so.
I do.
You do?
Yeah, if you're going to carry on...
I don't doubt you do. I don't doubt you do.
You're going to carry on talking that mumbo jumbo. You're off, mate.
Ohio?
Yes?
It's good morning.
No, it isn't.
It is.
No, it isn't. Good afternoon.
It's good afternoon.
No, it isn't. No.
Konnichiwa.
Yes.
Konbawa.
No,
good evening.
No, excuse me, konbanwa, not kumbawa.
Konbawa.
Konbanwa.
Konbawa.
Excuse me.
Konbawa anatua.
Konbanwa. Yeah.
Tommy-san.
Yes.
Tommy-san.
Obrigado.
Say hi. Never
hi,
happened.
Hi.
Never happened.
What?
Ohio, good morning. Konnichiwa, good afternoon. Konbawa, good evening.
It's not even Ohio, you half-witted. Ohio.
Word of honor. I lived there for 3 years.
Ohio gozaimasu.
Ohio gozaimasu.
Ohio gozaimasu.
No. Gozaimasu.
All right, how do you say thank you in Japanese?
Arigato gozaimasu.
How do you say thank you in Portuguese?
Gracias.
What?
What?
How do you say thank you in Portuguese?
I would think gracias, I'm not sure.
No, you say obrigado.
Obrigado.
Yeah.
Muito, yes.
Now, how do you explain that?
Tommy,
how do you...
You did a marvellous thing. You did a marvellous thing, starting with Japanese discussion. But really, Ohio, good morning. Konnichiwa, good afternoon. Konbawa, good evening. Genki desu, feeling good.
All right, let's get interesting, Peter. How do you explain the fact that there was no word for thank you in Japanese until the Portuguese arrived in 1642?
Well, that is a nice statement to make, Tommy, and on your usual level, highly controversial, interesting, thought-provoking.
And...
not true.
Fact-based.
No.
Well, wait a minute.
I was there at the time.
Yeah, possibly. Come on, you can't explain it, can you?
I was there at the time.
You know why there was no word for thank you?
When you were studying to be a samurai, I was your instructor.
Yeah, you're struggling here a little bit, aren't you?
Tommy, you're a good kid.
I know. Go away, dreadful man. There's nothing astonishing about a Western man who is so interested in the Japanese that he chooses to train to be a samurai, which I did for 2 years. I studied the art of iaido. 10 disciplines for killing a man with a long sword, and iaido. Whilst kneeling, killing a man who is opposite you, who is also kneeling or sitting in seiza, as the Japanese have it, all the way through to killing 4 men who are approaching you from 4 different directions whilst you yourself are walking forward. Okay. And when you understand that that is a fundamental sport in Japan, you realise, of course, utterly and completely, that you are dealing with a very different race of people. Free call 0500 1053 89. Obrigado, Peter. And iede tashimashite. Michael calls from Northampton. Michael?
Good afternoon, Tommy. How are you?
You don't think we should be just a little suspicious, perhaps, of the Japanese?
I think we should be a lot suspicious of the Japanese. I used to work for a Japanese food company down in London for a couple of years, and some of the things that happened were scary.
Okay.
I've got to admit. I mean, in some ways, you've got to admire them for trying to strive for perfection, but sometimes I think they're just taking it too far.
Go ahead.
It's the be-all or end-all.
Tell us more.
Well, it's just that, I mean, if you talk about business side, the sales figures, for example, where they had to get so much, if not, they were shipped out, shipped back, and they were severely reprimanded for it. I mean, business goes bad and they go good, but these people just took it beyond extremes. I mean, the way they wanted us to work, they wanted us to learn Japanese language, and I just thought, why?
So, clearly, they are furiously ambitious, but what is this ambition?
Well, this is it.
Ah.
You know, what is it?
Yes.
I mean, if you sit down and think about it for any way, it is scary. I mean, fair enough, in some parts of Japan, they have the most primitive cultures where they're still doing things that they did thousands of years ago.
Yes.
And then, you know, not 100 miles away, they're the most advanced people going.
Yes.
What's it about?
Thank you for your call. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Even the most superficial investigation of Japanese mores will reveal that the central thrust of their religion, Shinto, is that one is reincarnated many times. And it is that rather happy certainty that has in the past led a great many Japanese people to seek their own demise, their own death, so that they can get their 6 or 7 or 8 visits to Earth over and done with, and they can move on to that better place, fully equipped with whatever it is they learned whilst they were here. Different? A little bit. Sylvia calls from Cardiff. Sylvia, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I love your programme. It is such an interesting one, and everybody has a right to say what they wish.
Well, within
I
reason.
want to go on to the Japanese.
Oh, yes?
And you say that, you know, do we think we have something to fear? I don't think we have a tremendous lot to fear, but I do think they haven't changed. They've changed in maybe their way of living, but not in their attitude.
No.
Their attitude is still, they feel, far superior to us.
Mm.
And they were very cruel, and I don't feel that people are prepared even yet to forgive that.
Mm. They're very good at laundry, though, aren't they?
They are. They're
Which is
excellent.
extraordinary.
They're first class.
Yes. Very good at laundry.
They are.
And,
And they're very good at other things.
yes.
But I don't feel that they should be 100% trusted.
I never knew what to make of that Mao Zedong.
No, nor did I.
No. He was obviously, you know, plausible as far as they were concerned.
I feel they were guided,
Yes.
like Germany was guided.
Yes.
And these people were just guided by this person, and they believed and put all their faith into it.
Yes.
But it is a hard, cruel race.
Yes.
And I know I would never put 100% trust back into them.
What it was I was out at one of their restaurants
Yes,
on Friday night,
yes,
and I had the works, Peking duck.
yes,
Have you ever had that?
yes, wonderful.
Shark's fin soup,
Yeah,
chow mein.
yeah. You name it, I've eaten
Oh,
it.
and the spare ribs. It was
No, spare ribs are Chinese.
It was belly pork.
Belly pork
It was just
is
belly pork.
Chinese.
Yeah. And the bloke kept coming over and saying, "Is it all right?" And he, "What? Is it all right?" You know, like they do. And it wasn't. It was, but I just didn't feel like saying anything.
Why?
Well, because, you know,
You're paying for it.
Well, yeah, but...
You're paying for it.
Well, it got us thinking anyway, you know, and we started talking about, you know, just what their motives are.
And what are their motives?
This is it, isn't it?
What are their motives?
Well, this is why I'm saying...
Would you trust them?
But I'm asking the question. I'm asking whether we shouldn't be... I mean, look, my wife is suspicious of almost everybody. But if you said to her, well, shouldn't we be suspicious of the Japanese? She'd say, well, that's racist. So that's not on.
I don't think it's racist.
But you can be suspicious of the
don't
Coleman.
think it is. It is fear.
Fear.
It is fear.
Yes.
It's not racist. It's fear.
Yes.
Racist is when it comes that you don't want your child to marry another race.
Ah, that's racism.
That's racist. But not fear.
No.
And it is fear of what these people may just do again.
Sylvia in Cardiff, thank you for your call. Free call 0500 10 53 89.
Better. Getting better.
You're listening to the world's biggest commercial talk station.
There's a good argument for listening.
Talk Radio. The numbers you require are 1053 and 1089 AM.
Talk to Tommy Boyd. Please keep listening. Tommy's just had block paving put down in his driveway.
Yes, And it doesn't all match, but I'm going to go with it because I think it'll weather nicely. Mick calls from Teesside. Mick, you are on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Hello, Tommy. What's all this, Tommy, about mousy tongue and Peking duck and stuff? That's Chinese.
Well, it's all the same, isn't it, really?
No, they have a different epicentric fold.
Well,
they live in different places.
Yeah, but I mean, but it's all the same sort of neck of the woods, isn't it?
Well, ish.
Isn't it?
Ish.
Well, we've never fought the Chinese, though. I'll grant you that, if that's your point.
No.
But not for a while.
No.
There was the Boxer War, wasn't there?
Oh, yes, Mike Tyson and people.
Did you see the young Marco Fu in the snooker yesterday?
Yes, I did. I just caught a glimpse.
Now, there's an interesting question for you, since you're obviously a bit of a scholar.
A bit?
Yeah. Is he Chinese or not? Because he was born in Happy Valley in Hong Kong. Ah. Now then, I'm asking you a question here.
Well, he might be Chinese now.
Aha!
Maybe he wasn't before.
So what is the difference then between the Chinese and the Hong Kongese and the Taiwanese and the Japanese? If you're so clever.
Yes. Yes, I think you just laid that one in, Tommy, just to catch people out.
I just wanted to check where everybody was this afternoon, Mick, and it's a Monday. Free call 0500 1053 89. Mike is on the line from Cambridge. Mike, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hello?
The question is this. Should we perhaps be a little bit suspicious of those Japanese?
More than just a little bit.
Go on.
I've just come back from working in Japan.
Uh-huh.
I work for a rather large catering manufacturer.
Yeah.
And they placed an order for 3 complete installations. And I was told by the foreman over there, I'd guarantee by the time you get back, they will cancel 2.
Yeah.
Which they did. Within 3 weeks of us getting back, they cancelled the other 2 orders.
How interesting.
The reason why
yes?
they wanted all our technology over there, it's a rather specialist area that we work in, so they could copy.
What, still?
Yeah.
They're still buying our mopeds, taking them to pieces and building a better one?
Yeah.
Dear God.
Yeah.
You're joking.
Yeah, it's true. They're actually manufacturing, they've got their own manufacturing plant there.
And presumably somebody from your company said, as they should have done, Mike, I'm sorry, we're not taking all this plant over because we know you're going to cancel the order and we know all you're going to do.
It was the foreman on site over there.
Yes.
He was the guy who told us. He works over there permanently doing different sites.
Yes.
For the Japanese.
Right.
And he's the one who told us, he said, by the time you get back, guarantee you'll have a cancelled order.
Without telling us what you do exactly, because I don't suppose you want to, what sort of line are you in?
Catering industry.
Catering? And what were they copying then?
I can't say too much because it is rather a large concern.
Well, we're not talking about hamburger vans here.
Bigger than that. A lot bigger. A lot bigger. It's a specialised area regarding...
whatever.
Fast foods.
Fast foods. I thought, yes, I think I'm...
Not that fast.
No.
But, I mean, the other thing was the attitude of the Japanese over there. We were doing work and basically their overseer, not a foreman or manager, the site manager, was Japanese. And he did treat us like mud. And if he saw you struggling, he got 3 or 4 men stood about. He wouldn't help you at all. You were there to slave for them.
Mm.
And they did treat us like second-class citizens really, really badly.
Yes.
And I will never go back as long as I live, unless we're invading.
Right, okay, unless to invade. Yeah. How interesting. Because we don't invade Japan, do we? We just send over Enola Gay and things. Now, we did.
Send Maggie.
Well, allegedly we did. There are those who believe that, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, there was less to Hiroshima and Nagasaki than we were told in our history lessons. There are those who... Yes?
If I don't know what I know now, the gas pipes should be connected up totally different.
Steady, that's quite enough. We're breaking new ground here, but we're one step at a time.
Yeah.
Thank you for your call. Free call 0500 1053 89. See, all nations have an ambition. We have an ambition as a nation at the moment. The British nation are attending to the separate needs of our provinces, yes, and at the same time seeking to establish a valuable role amongst our European partners, whilst at the same time maintaining our special relationship with the United States for a variety of economic and military reasons, and exerting pressure on our erstwhile enemies such as Iraq. I mean, that's our global rationale, our raison d'etre. And pretty much any country should be able to write its approximate foreign policy coupled with its economic policy, if the two things do go fist in glove, in a paragraph. And one wonders what Japan's would read like, and one wonders whether, therefore, one ought not be in exercise of a healthy suspicion about those Japanese. Feroz calls from Birmingham. Feroz, good afternoon.
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 Yeah, this programme about the Japanese, I've just been listening to it for the past 10 minutes. I don't think they should be treated any different to anyone else. Not treated or judged or looked upon differently. I don't think so. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yes. I mean, some people listening might say that your opinion is a little simplistic.
It is, isn't it? I mean,
it is. Is it really?
Yeah, well, it is, because I didn't explain it very well. So,
no, you certainly didn't.
Right, okay.
Carry on.
They've got views, aspirations, ambitions.
What are they?
Just to get on, have a family and make money or whatever.
As a nation, they have elected a leader, and their leader will be steering their country's interest in a certain direction. What would that be?
I'd have thought something financial.
Something financial?
Yeah, okay, I don't know. I mean, I didn't really listen to your programme when it came on talking about money, but as a people, they should
you thought you better ring in and say, hey, they're just people like us.
But people like people.
People are people. People are people. Yes. Did you do much history?
Not a lot.
No. Well, keep watching the skies, Feroz.
What's mine?
The skies. Keep watching the skies.
Right, okay.
Thank you for that little piece of hippie philosophy there.
Okay.
Bye for now. Now, come on, we have to be a little bit better than that. We're not being at all antisocial when we exercise a healthy suspicion about who might be knocking on our door, even at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We flick the curtains, don't we? Don't we? We should do. Or use one of those little peepholes, which are very good and only cost a couple of pounds, before we open the door. There's nothing unhealthy about that. And as we look out from our front door at the world around us, should we not exercise a healthy suspicion about a great many regimes around the world, such as the boys in Tokyo? Let's have a word with Anne, who's calling from Dorset. Anne, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello. Can you be gentle with me?
Certainly, as always.
I'm so grateful you've actually raised the debate about the Japanese.
My pleasure.
Because I'm suffering, for quite a long time, because my husband actually had ran off with a Japanese lady. And I can assure you, they are so fantastic.
Who are?
But the Japanese ladies, she copies everything I do. She wants to buy a cottage in Dorset.
Really?
Etc., etc. Everything I do. She made apple charlotte last night. Apple charlotte.
Wait a minute. This is a glorious excursion from our original agenda, but I'm happy to indulge it.
Tommy, be gentle with me.
I will. You have a Japanese woman who has stolen your husband and is trying to turn herself into some sort of Ma Larkin.
Quite superior Ma Larkin.
A superior Ma Larkin?
Of course. Living in the country, etc. I don't know what it is, and I wish the debate was raised further, because why do they want to copy us?
Yes.
It's a very small island, Japan, isn't it?
No. It's a very big island, as islands go, unless you count...
We're about equivalent, aren't we?
Unless you count Greenland.
Oh, dear.
Which people do, according to their argument.
I'm sorry.
Not at all.
Confusing.
Well, in fact, it's 4 islands, the last time I checked.
Sorry?
It's 4 main islands, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
But he's going off to Japan at Christmas, and he's completely boggled. He thinks Japan, Germany, and English people are the main people. I don't know what's happening. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's right.
Well, there are those who recognise something familiar in the spirit of the Japanese.
I think so.
You see, there are two nations on Earth, okay, who have grown up largely untroubled by foreign invasion.
Right.
Japan.
Yep.
And us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So can you appreciate I'm on a constant battle and there's no respite from this because etc.
Yes, but she's not going to
get... They're so charming. They're so different from the way English girls are turning out, and I can assure you...
But she's not peaches and cream, is she? And she's not going to be able to...
Pretty, but she's getting fatter.
Well, you country girl.
And I'm slim.
Oh, well.
You see, Japan is an island of villages, you see.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing. People don't really understand. It's like the 5th century and the 21st century.
Would you like, if I could rustle up somebody who knows...
I'd like to write to you, actually, because I can tell you.
I wouldn't... Don't write to me, because my mail all gets dealt with by big burly men with rubber gloves.
I've been persuaded into going on air, you know
well,
that, don't
I can tell you're doing very well. I want to give you an opportunity to speak to somebody who might be able to advise you on how to nobble your nemesis.
I'm divorced. I've been dumped.
Yeah, but you still want to get her back, don't you?
No.
You do. Anyway, we want to find out how you could do that. So stay where you are and stay on the phone.
Yeah.
I have an expert on Japanese women who has called from Croydon, and it is Steve. Steve, welcome and thank you for your call.
Yeah, hi there. Hi.
You know a bit about Japanese women. Why is that?
Well, I'm married to one, but this Japanese nation I know a bit about.
Okay.
They've got a big conspiracy going against us. It's great. It really is wonderful.
Well, It's wonderful being married to a Japanese lady. I'm sure it is.
Yeah, but
I can agree with that.
Wait, guys. We'll come to the conspiracy theory and the global issues about whether we should be suspicious of the Japanese in a moment. Steve, Anne would like some tips. Did you ever see The Loves and Lives of the She-Devil?
I know the story, the basic outline.
Anne is a bit like the Roseanne Barr character, okay?
Do you know, I even asked her for some makeup. Yeah. This is very interesting. On her, I've actually had to accept delivery of a shed because they're all. She works about 23 hours a day. But the fact she's got whitening cream on her.
Oh, she'll die of a heart attack pretty soon if she's one of those type of Japanese.
I'm very worried about that.
Yeah.
Very worried about that.
No, you're not.
Well, there's varying types, I'm afraid.
I asked her for some makeup, and I tell you what.
What kind of tea do you drink? What kind of tea do you make? Do you make tea?
Yes.
Yeah, you've got to get into tea rituals.
Yeah.
Right.
You have.
It's to make men relaxed, isn't it?
Well, there's massage as well, there's massage and all that side as well. But
I know.
You've got to trick the males into thinking they're in control somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
You know, that's what
absolutely right. I'm afraid. You see, the fact is she's a very nice person. Because, I think the Japanese are quite superior.
Well, very civilised.
Very civilised. And I'm afraid the way English women are going seems to be downhill. You know.
Well, Anne, before I let you go...
The comparison is so marked.
Yes, you did a very grateful...
I don't be boring.
No, you're not being boring. You've been fascinating. I want to get on to Steve's conspiracy theory, which we'll have to be quite quick with, Steve.
Yeah,
because
basically.
We're running out of time. But Anne, just before you go...
Thank you.
Before you go...
Thank you for listening.
No,
I've been prodded onto this programme, you know that,
Yeah, no, is the shed up?
I've no idea. They were 2 hours late. Had to wait there and absolutely jangling. Because English service is so bad.
Yeah, well, that's another programme, isn't it? And thank you for your call. Steve.
Yeah, hi.
How's your shed? No. Where were we? Oh, yes. The Japanese.
Yeah, well, they're wonderful people, but, there's good and bad everywhere. But the idea I got was that they think ahead a lot more than us.
Yes.
And they've got a good idea of what's happened, and they've got a good idea of where they're going because of that.
Yes.
The main idea that I was working out there was the hardware conspiracy.
Yes, what's
that? They've made a lot of money out of the hardware, selling us things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now they've bought up all the software, because they own lots of studios in America and stuff.
They do.
And that means they can decide what the next wave of hardware is.
Yes, I see.
So they're thinking 10, 15 years ahead, and
right.
It's a bit sad to say, but what can we do? We have to watch out. And when my father met the Japanese in the 70s in Glasgow, he thought he was showing them how to build ships. But as that guy before said, he was showing them how not to build ships. They came here and saw our mistakes. They never paid any money for their their bombs and rockets and stuff. They don't buy that sort of stuff. They don't have a big army. America's been protecting them. They're going to space, and they want to go to space for the right reasons, not to shoot at each other down here. They want to go there for minerals. They want to go to the moon. They're arguing about who owns the moon. Right now, they're arguing with who can actually take resources out of the moon.
Steve, I'm grateful for your call. Paddy gets the last word on this for the time being. Paddy in Basingstoke, you're on Talk Radio.
Hiya, Tommy.
Paddy.
Yeah, I was just saying to the secretary, my brother-in-law used to rent a room out. He rented a couple of Japanese guys who come over to study here.
Yes.
And it came as a great shock to them, because they were under the impression that they'd actually won World War II. Because when you think about it logically, over there, they had all this great wealth after the Second World War, didn't they? Building themselves up again. So that's all I had to say, really. I was trying to be concise.
You were very concise and to the point, and we need more of that. Free call 0500 10 53 89. In the final slice of this afternoon's programme, the only qualification for your thoughts is this: have you had to change a light bulb recently? I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
Here's the news. You're listening to the world's biggest commercial talk station.
You know how good it is. You're listening to it.
Talk Radio.
Now, more than 250,000. More.
Radio experiment. It does exactly what it says in the papers.
I smell bacon.
Life's gonna suck when you grow up, when you grow up, when you grow up. Life's gonna suck when you grow up. It sucks pretty bad right now. Life's gonna suck when you grow up, when you grow up, when you grow up. Life's gonna suck when you grow up. It sucks pretty bad right now. Life's gonna suck when you grow up, when you grow up, when you grow up. Life's gonna suck when you grow up, and then you're gonna die.
Available soon on CD. It's a hoot, isn't it? And ain't it the truth, Ruth? So, had to change a light bulb at the weekend, and for the 1000th time in my life, I realised that it's one of the most dangerous things anybody does. And the reason for that is, first of all, because they're so high up, but not so high up that you need the ladder, so you use a chair, and that's dangerous. But that when you go to change the light bulb, because the light doesn't work anymore, you don't know from switching the light switch on, off, up, down, whether when you put the new bulb in, it's going to go bleh, and it could just get you. It could just be the death of you. I mean, obviously, there are people who do it in the bathroom, and that is, plain asking for trouble. But the rest of us are asking for trouble because the light switch doesn't say on or off. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I kid you not, with both hands on both hearts. I honestly think it is the most drastically dangerous or potentially dangerous oversight in the home. Everything else that we've got in the home is checked and tested and writ large for safety. Okay, isn't it? But that light switch can be up for on or down for on, depending on what? I don't know. You tell me. What? I don't know. I did physics to the highest possible standard at a top scientific grammar school, but I don't know why some light switches are up for on and some light switches are down for on. And so what you do is you go into the bedroom where there hasn't been a light for about 3 weeks and you can't quite remember which it was, because that's all you've got to go on, your memory, your finger memory of whether it's up or down, for on or off. So, like me, I am sure, sir, because it's usually the chap, it's even more dangerous for madam to do it, only because madams are slightly smaller. If you're 5 foot, how do you do it? Because the kitchen table chair isn't quite tall enough, is it? So you take the old light bulb out, and then you tentatively put your hand up to what may be 240 live volts, put in a light bulb. 50% of the time it doesn't come on, 50% of the time it blinds you, and you take your hand away quickly because you know that you're risking your life. Why hasn't anybody in the domestic electrical industry got on top of this simple one, this so simple one? Isn't it? Free call 0500 10 53 89. I like little bits like this because you suddenly realise, don't you? You go, oh yeah, that's true, that. But let's get positive about it. Not so much reflective. It's free call 0500 10 53 89. What are we going to do about the changing of the light bulb problem? I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There is a good argument for listening.
TNT Classic Movies and Talk Radio bring you closer than ever to the all-time stars with TNT Classic
Talk Radio.
I've got a queue of people lining up with readers' tips. I don't know if you are familiar with the Viz Letters page. It's about that sort of ilk, but we'll give it a whirl. Anna calls from Sussex. Anna.
Hello.
How do you solve this nightmare?
I wimp out totally. I go to my mains box in the hall. I pull the trip switch to off, and then I set about it. Mind you, you do have to do that in the daylight.
So you black out the entire house and all your electrical appliances in order to change a light bulb?
Well, all of them. You know, it's probably only a couple of lights that have been on anyway. And so do it in the daylight. Turn it off at the mains and carry on. I mean, because when I'm on a chair and I haven't turned it off at the mains, I always think that it's going to come on. And so, like you say, I snatch my hand away and practically drop the light bulb, give myself hysterics, etc., etc. It's not worth it, is it?
And then you get the old bulb out and you give it a shake up against your ear.
To make sure it's really dead.
Yeah, and it always is.
Yes.
Well, obviously, there's something in what you say, Anna, because, hey, you're not dead yet.
No. And listen, I just want to say two other things too. I very much enjoy the way we've come full circle back to domestic dangers. A nice circuit. And also, the thing about the Japanese thing, I know we're not talking about it, but that was very fascinating and wish we could have had longer to talk about that.
Thank you for your call and your compliments. Dee is next, calling from Dorset. Hello, Dee.
Hello, Tommy. Regarding the light switch, just put a little bit of paint or something that you can feel, even if it's dark, and you'll know whether that if you can feel that, it's on.
So you go around the house, or I suppose you could use, or you could always use nail polish.
Yes, anything.
Little drop of nail polish, on whichever part of the switch is on?
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be easier if they sold us a switch which had on and off on it?
Well, no, because in the dark you couldn't see it, could you?
But you have on and off on the switches that are down by the skirting.
Yes.
Well, why can't you have on and off with your light switches?
Well, you could do, but then you still have the problem in the dark. But if you've got some little thing with a raised top, you can just feel it. No. And also, Tommy, there's the extra danger that you very often have two switches to one light, sort of one as you come in the door, one as you go out of another door.
Yes.
So you have to check both switches are off.
Yes.
So just put a tiny little bit of something that you can feel.
A handy little domestic tip, Dee. Also, laddered tights, don't throw them away. Stuff them with old tennis balls. That will confuse the cat. That sort of thing. A bit like a sort of woman's magazine, helpful hints page, this, isn't it? What we're talking about, if you've just arrived at the radio, is the fact that whenever you change a light bulb, you can never remember whether the light switch is up or down for off. So there's always that little moment of danger as you put the new bulb in. Will it come on? In which case you'll have to go and pull your hand away. Or will it stay off? In which case you will feel safe and triumphant in your guesswork. But we shouldn't have to settle for that, should we? John calls from Sunderland. You're on Talk Radio. John?
Hello, Tommy.
Hi.
Love your show.
Dear boy.
Hello, I just want to talk about the electric light switch problem.
Yes?
Yeah, if you're really worried about getting electrocuted, why not turn it off at the fuse box? Turn the trip switch off.
Well, it's a bit of a nuisance, isn't it? Because we know we're not going to die if the light comes on when we put it in. It's just that we don't like to, to take the risk.
And the other idea I had is that if you get the rose of the cap of the thing, which you'd hold when you're changing the light bulb, you'd hold that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And the glass of the bulb.
Yes.
But they're both insulators, so you're not going to get shocked from the insulator.
Yeah, but we know that. But but we're still nervous of electricity, aren't we? We? Shouldn't we be?
It's an unknown thing, isn't it? People don't like it because they get different ideas from movies and things of what electricity does.
It's a killer. It's a killer, and it's loose in our house. A free call 0500 1053 89. Thank you, John. Karen's in Worcester. You're on Talk Radio. Karen.
Oh, I'm just trying to say, I've got a stairs light the bulb went about 3 weeks ago now, and I'm still too scared to put one in.
That's the most dangerous thing in the house is your landing light, if it's over the well.
I know.
It's like they put a smoke detector in our house over the well.
Yeah.
And you have to replace the battery every 6 months. How do you do that?
I've no idea.
We're not a trapeze act in my house.
I know, I keep hoping somebody's got to come in and I can get them to do it for me. I can get electrocuted for me.
Whenever you put a light bulb in and it turns out that the socket is on, and you've got your hands on this thing that's just come alive, you go, ooh. Why don't they just put on-off on the light switches?
I don't know. I've got to kill myself coming down the stairs instead of getting electrocuted.
It's beyond me. It's beyond me. It is beyond explanation. I wonder how many people die because of it, or at least suffer a hardening of the arteries. Graham is on the line.
But every time I try to do it.
What?
So
Oh, I thought you'd gone.
I keep attempting to put it in.
No, I mean, I wish you'd gone. Sorry, Karen, back to your call. Hi, it's Graham in Luton. I was hunting. Hi.
Hi.
Graham.
Tommy.
Yes.
It's an unsolvable problem because, you know, when you've got a light switch in the hallway and the upstairs.
Oh, yes.
What about when you put it on and off or if you mark on and off, you haven't got it?
Listen, how do they do that?
How?
How do they do that? How do they do that so that you can switch the light? Yes?
It's somewhat, I'll forget whether it's double or triple gang where well, it's very complicated, but you have to have it wired at both ends of the switch and things. I'm not exactly sure.
It's very handy though, isn't it? Because it'd be a nightmare to have to go downstairs to turn the landing light off and then go upstairs in the dark.
Yeah.
You know? Brilliant,
That's
isn't
what you
it?
used to have to do though, didn't you?
Did you?
Yeah.
How old are you?
56. I remember when we used to have to turn it off at the bottom of the stairs and crawl up on your hands and knees.
No, I'm sorry. I can go back almost as far as you, and there's always been that facility.
They? No, well, perhaps I lived up north. Perhaps we didn't have the technology you've got down here.
Oh, don't pull the old I'm hard as nails, I'm from the north thing on me. Where are you from then?
Manchester.
Newcastle, mate. You're a soft southerner. Ha!
Yeah.
Yeah. Wimp.
Anyway, if they could invent a little light that would shine even if the bulb wasn't working.
Yes.
Then, you know, because you get some switches that have got little neon lights.
Yes.
But I don't know whether it'd work if the bulb went, you see.
But it's a thought, and I'm grateful for your call. Drive on now and drive safely. The reason we don't know when we go to change the light bulb whether we've left the switch in the on or the off position is because when a light bulb goes, it goes dink, and we go, oh, and then like an idiot, we give it a couple of flicks. And then you can't remember the sequence. And you try to remember what your habit was when you turned that light on every time, and you've done it 1,000 times, but you can't remember for sure if your life depended on it. Ain't right. Whether the light switch is on when it's up or down. And I mean, it just seems to me to be a gap in the market. Mark calls from London. Yo, Mark.
Hello, Tom.
What do you got for me?
I can solve your problems.
Okay.
You can get one of the large manufacturers now makes a lamp holder that's got a built-in switch. So when you take the bulb out, it actually switches the pins off anyway.
Does it really do that?
So it doesn't matter.
Isn't that fun? How much?
About £4, £5 a shot.
Ah, but can we fit them ourselves, or do we need to get a man?
You need me, don't you? I can tell you how come you can turn them on the top and bottom as well if you want, but it's quite boring.
I'm sure it is. Shall we leave that one out?
Okay.
But thank you for topping us up on that. It doesn't surprise me that they've caught up with it, but it's been a bit of a while coming, hasn't it, really? There was that French pop star who did himself in changing a light bulb in the bathroom. Do you remember what's his name? Johnny Holiday? Francois Mitterrand? I can't remember. You know, but it's a matter of life and death in France. Would you change a light bulb in France? I wouldn't. I don't know why, but I've never trusted French wiring. Why is that? David calls from Cambridge. You're on Talk Radio. David.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Another answer to your problem.
Yes.
The latest type of light switches,
yeah,
they have a little indicator on for when they're turned off. This is so you can find the switch in the dark. Therefore, if the indicator's not on, it must be switched on.
Mind you.
Do you follow?
I do. Mind you, you shouldn't need to find a light switch in the dark in your own home, should you? You should know where it is, really.
No,
in hotels, I can understand.
Yeah. Now, and also, if you were using the low-energy bulbs,
yes,
you wouldn't be changing them, because they last for nearly 10 years.
Well, you wouldn't be changing them so often.
No, every 10 years, yeah.
Yes, that's true. Why do those lights that Everlast, why do they go bing when you put them on? Why don't they go on straight away?
Because you're heating up the gas inside them.
Is that what it is?
Just like fluorescent tubes.
Well, I'm damned if you didn't know the answer to that question. Isn't that something?
Yep. And I've got them all in my house, and it's definitely lowered the electricity bill.
I'd love to come round and have a chat.
Yep.
Yes. But not now. Free call 0500 10 53 89. You want Peter Dealey, and he is next. I look forward to talking with you from 3 tomorrow. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.